we're talking to the girlfriend. She's trying to call his agent, but we're trying to get him to call him first. But she's saying he is armed and has a history of mental illness, and her quote was, "He will end it all."
Good copy. You probably run back to the car to get the gun.
If she calls him, we'll let you know.
Good copy. All right, y'all do me a favor. Everybody stay with a buddy. Don't go looking alone. This guy is armed.
President, they just received a text from him, a group text from him saying goodbye. They're concerned for his welfare. They do not have a key to the apartment.
David said my property. I advised on this call. We were just out there. There's nobody at the apartment. All contact from my phone.
We have a lieutenant calling in from Plano advising that the NFL is calling Plano PD, and the subject is texting his family goodbye.
EPS 111, there's a porta potty on the south side of that building.
40, we got eyes on it. That's pretty much right exactly where 118 drew the circle. Do y'all see a heat on that?
Yeah, 111, we got good eyes on. Looks like the door's open. Red liquid coming out from it. We just want to go ahead and work this safely before we have any officers approach. So let's just get an arrest team and kind of go through this safely and tactically. I believe we got eyes on a drone right there. Still got eyes on the target inside that porta potty.
We're pushing the drone there now.
Very good copy. Just on our last orbit, we didn't see any movement. Still got that heat signature. Looks like it's curled up at the bottom of that porta potty with the stream of blood coming from the porta potty.
Yeah, that's a 10-4. He's going to be laying on his side, facing inward, and quite a bit of blood coming out.
Sad situation there. Rest in peace, Marshawn Kneeland. Let's talk about, I think, the question that the sports world asks itself collectively when something like this happens is, how do you get to the top of the mountain in terms of making your dreams a reality? And obviously there are levels within the NFL, but to make it this far, all of those reps, all of those push-ups, all of those practices to get to this point, and then even have a touchdown on Monday Night Football and then unalive yourself. Okay, so I've lost teammates to suicide before, obviously Junior Seau being the biggest name. And one thing I will say to try and draw a through line to try to make some sense out of this is the fact that you can't see it coming fully. As in this situation, Marshawn lost his mother last year. I know when I played for the Dallas Cowboys, I lost my mother when I was an active player there in Dallas. And one thing that I will say about my situation was it felt like the stopper, you know, you're trying to fill up the tub, the sink. Feel like the stopper was taken out. Now, for me, it was momentarily, it was episodic, but at the same time, I felt like that. Like, no matter what I was doing, it didn't matter. That deep meaning, that deep connection to our life source, it felt like it was just all draining away because I had lost my mother. And her being my inspiration, the reason why I did so much to make her proud, to make her happy, our bond, I know what that moment, that depth felt like. But one thing I've also learned in talking to many people, especially in the health field, mental health field, is that suicide, unaliving yourself, is episodic. It's very intense, obviously, so intense that you believe that this episode is not a relative moment in life that will pass, but you think this is an absolute and this will be forever. And when you get into that place, those assumptions, they all start to aggregate towards a negative, and you start to think through that emotional pain and turmoil that the only relief is to unplug yourself fully from our life source. And obviously, us looking at this situation, looking at it from our perspective, see it differently, and we have this perspective to rely on. Death itself is devastating enough, But with these circumstances and just watching him enjoy in elation just days before obviously drives it home in a different way. And because it's self-inflicted, you start to look at it differently because he had so much to live for. And you start to question, well, what would someone really be going through in those moments to do this to himself? As early as 8 years old, I remember my uncle took his own life right around the corner. Actually got my family heard the gunshot right around the corner from where we live, and all the way to obviously the situations we're talking about with Junior Seau and others, and now today Marshawn Kneeland. In situations like this, all of us are speculating what could be the cause, what could be the trigger, what happened. You know, you reach such a moment in your life where the whole world is talking about you. You make this amazing play. People are singing your praises. And then sometimes it's not who you look around and see, it's who you don't see. Sometimes it's what you feel on the inside that everyone thinks should be so high, but it just reminds you of how empty that high is, how low it can really feel in those moments. And I will say this, moments that were supposed to be joyous post my mother passing didn't have the same meaning, didn't have the same gravity as they did when she was here. So out of respect and the sensitivity of this situation, let's just send our prayers their way to those who are still here, who are obviously deeply connected to Marshawn. And sad situation all the way around. If you see it as from any point on the circumference, just sad, sad, sad. All right, y'all. Make sure you love life and know that you are loved, and stay strong through this thing. Wow.
It's been a decade plus that I knew that this day was going to come.
Oh, this is not hyperbole here.
Because I think the verse.
Time to hydrate. Hydration's the situation, so.
Head over to my Patreon. Early access, all access, full episodes. The raps, the flows, story time, Wileyisms, and more. Bwah, 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 bwah.
Right. I'm glad he said that. No one chooses football. Football chooses you. It's so crazy people still stuck in Pat Mahomes in the offense. I'm like, do you see these numbers?
This is Marcellus Wiley on the rocks.